For all the latest updates, subscribe to News 9.
Hello, you're watching News 9 Digital. I'm Abhijit Singh Bhamra and today I'll be talking to you about one of the major decisions which was taken by the IPL Governing Council in a meeting over weekend in Mumbai. Now, IPL 2020 is all set to take place from September in the UAE and the SOPs will be declared later, but one major decision which the IPL Governing Council has agreed to is that allowing COVID-19 substitutes right through the IPL, not one, not two, not three, but unlimited number of substitutes in order to ensure that the league goes on. Now, the concept of COVID-19 substitutes was introduced by the ICC in January 2020 in order to ensure that if any player is diagnosed with COVID-19, then he will have to be replaced then and there. The diagnosed player then goes into the isolation, immediately goes into the isolation and will take no further part in the whole series. Now, on these lines only, the BCCI has introduced the concept of COVID-19. Like I said, there are no number of substitutes which is limited. Like you can have X number of substitutes, maybe a total 11 players might be substituted and you might see another player walking into the team. So clearly it's a decision which has its pros and cons. Now, talking about the positives now. Positive is that in order to ensure that there is a curb on COVID-19 infections, this rule has been introduced, and rightfully so, because you don't need a COVID-19 infected player to participate in the whole league, into the whole matches right through the tournament, and then he passes on the virus to other players. Now that's not a good scenario to have, especially when you are conducting a league overseas. Remember, the IPL will be played in the UAE and not in India. UAE has one of the minimum number of COVID-19 patients, maybe under 700 or 800 at this point of time as we speak. But overall, the scenario is that the BCCI from their end, they will have their medical team. The player will have to undergo 4 tests, two tests before leaving India, and 2 tests will be conducted in the UAE during the IPL 2020 is going on. So that's a positive thing that the BCCI is making sure that all the players are healthy and also they are ready to participate in the cash-rich league, and no player wants to miss out on playing in the IPL because of the kind of money they make. Now, the downside of this is that a player might fake his health status to the player, to the governing body. So what does the BCCI do then? For that, they will have a medical health officer right there inside the stadium in order to ensure that each and every player's report is presented to the medical officer, which he will forward it to the BCCI. So there is a process which will take place overall, and the player will not be able to fake their health status. And also the downside to that is if more than one player tested positive, then if the player is tested before the night of the game or even a couple of days before the game has taken place, then till the time the report comes in, it might be all too late and the player might already go inside the playing 11, and who knows, he might have infected other players as well. So clearly the BCCI has the task cut out in order to ensure that each and every thing goes as per plan. Also, the IPL Governing Council will have to ensure that they have the right people at the right places to make sure that this COVID-19 substitute formula works well and works really well for the Indian administrators, for the BCCI and for the other players participating in. So what do you think about the video? Do you think the BCCI is spot on when it comes to COVID-19 substitutes, or do you think that there are more further changes which they need to make, mention in this COVID-19 guidelines in order to ensure that the virus is curbed? Do send in your comments and feedback, and I'll be looking forward to the same. In the meantime, do not forget to subscribe to News 9 Digital across all social media platforms.